Human rights group has threatened to sue the government over the introduction of the turnover tax, popularly referred to as the patriotism tax or Mama Mboga tax, just 1 month after it came into effect.
The group terms the levy as oppressive on the common mwananchi who are struggling to eke out a living in hard economic times.
And as KTN's Timothy Otieno now reports, small-scale traders are looking helpless as the taxman oogles the few pennies they have.
Mother of two and small-scale trader Jane Muthoni has been dreading the date 31st January. That's because it means she will now have to sum up her entire earnings for the month and give up 3% of her gross sales to the Kenya Revenue Authority as part of the newly reintroduced turnover tax, which took effect on the 1st of the month.
Itakuwa imeni-affect na ime-affect mwenzangu na familia yangu pia. Unaelewa? Kwa hivyo nadhania hii kitu wawachane nayo kabisa.
In the 12 years that she has been running her grocery shop, she tells me this has been the worst season. And even though customers steadily flock her stall, she knows every coin she gets is carefully being eyed by the taxman, who has over the past 2 years been hard-pressed to meet revenue collection targets. The grandmother of 5 is now worried the new tax measures will more likely hurt her business, which is already struggling to stay afloat.
Afadhali tu watuambie tufunge virago tuende nyumbani, na tukienda nyumbani tutaenda kuwa waizi ama tutaenda kuwa nini?
Have you ever seen a Mama Mboga give a receipt? These businesses that you see people do, you are sold shoes on the window of a matatu. So this guy, when will he sit down and start giving you feedback on what he sold and what he bought? I think one of the danger of this is that it's going to encourage even more formality than we have ever seen before.
Across the street, Christopher Mushiri shares in Muthoni's grief. His barbershop, located in Nairobi's Tasia estate, is not so busy, and he's now worried things are looking grim.
Tufai kuongezewa tax ingine. Juu ile tax yenye sisi tunalipa already imetufinyilia.
The Kenya to Itakayo movement, a human rights group, has already threatened to seek legal redress if the tax persists.
We are requesting that the President and the Cabinet Secretary completely halt the implementation of the Mama Mboga tax as an unjust, unconstitutional and immoral tax.
The turnover tax, targeting more than 2.5 million small-scale traders in the country, requires them to log on to the iTax online portal and file their monthly payments. It's a system that may be impossible to effect for informal sector traders who often hawk items along the roadside, even as the Kenya Revenue Authority blames most of its tax deficit on the SME sector in the country.
Umeshawahi login kwa hiyo iTax system hiyo online ambayo mnafaa sasa mlipe hii tax mpya?
Bado kuitumia. Bado sijajua kuitumia, juu ni kitu mpya yenye tumeletewa na bado tunaelezea kuulizia, na ni kitu yenye inatustua already ile kulingana na uchumi venye inaendelea. Uchumi ni mbaya.
The tax applies to persons with business incomes of less than 5 million shillings a year and should be paid before the 20th of the following month. Whether traders will comply in its first month of implementation remains to be seen, with the tax system having limited enforcement mechanisms. Timothy Otieno,